another FOREXT Friday for October. And we're very pleased to have Milan Sarvaš here to talk about, he's from the National Forest Centre in Slovakia, talking about support systems for private forest owners. But we're also, just to remind you that next month, Marco Luvric will be talking about the new forest strategy for Europe. So that should be really useful and interesting. So just to be aware of that on the 26th of November. Anyway, so I'll pass over to you, Milan, maybe to introduce yourself and leave it with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark, for the introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mina and Natasha, for the preparation of this meeting, of this presentation. I try now to share my presentations. Please, can you see it?
Yeah, yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much again. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and really, it is a big pleasure for me to have possibility to continue in our FOREXT Friday and to give you some information related to support system for private forest owner from Rural Development Program 2023-2027. My presentation will be divided into two main parts. Firstly, I would like give you very briefly some general information related to Slovakia, Slovak Forestry, and our organization. It is National Forest Center, because if we want to speak about support system, I think it is very important to have this background information. And in second part of the presentation, I would like to focus on the common agriculture policy, on support for forest owners, and in the last 2 or 3 slides on the topics related to agriculture knowledge innovation transfer. Well, let's go start with very briefly some information words about Slovakia. It's a relatively small country in Central or East Europe. Area is almost 50,000 square kilometers, and population is almost 5.5 million. From the economical point of view, Slovakia something between industrial and rural country. On the picture, you can see traditional countryside of Slovakia, small villages surrounded by agricultural land, and in the background there are hills covered by forest. But what is very important for our economy is car industry, because the contribution of car industry to our GDP is 30%, and on the other hand, the forestry contribution is less than 1%, but it is without wood processing. It is only contribution on forestry sector. Now let's move to the forestry. As you can see, almost 42% of our country is covered by forest, plus about 280,000 hectares of abundant agriculture area is 45%. But there are big differences. Is region, the forest cover is dominated in east or north part in Slovakia, but on the other hand, if we look on the map closely to Hungarian and Austrian, the cover is only 15%. And if we speak about forest in Slovakia, we speak about broadleaf forest with domination of beech over 30%, and from the conifers is dominated by Norway spruce about 22%. Average stock is almost 250 cubic meter, and total increment is over 6 cubic meter per hectare. And probably some picture in Slovakia, you can find some area like this. It is almost desert. There are very poor soil soil condition, but on the other hand, there are mountainous area, but generally the forest in Slovakia is something which mixed forest from spruce, beech, silverfir, maple, very productive forests. From the ownership, over 50% of our forest area is managed by state forest enterprise, and half forest is managed by non-state forest enterprise or is owned by and if you look the private forest owners own only 8%, but community owned over 30%, and these two parts of our owners are relative problematic because the entities or the ownership is very small. And now some words related to our organization. We are state forestry agency under Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. We are divided into four institutions, and I'm from Institution for Forest Consultancy and Education. And generally, the main task of National Forest Center is provide high quality services to forest sector and other sectors. And of course, the main task of our institution is transfer of knowledge and information to forest owners and forest managers. And if we're speaking about forestry, the question is, or what is the main challenges for our sectors? There are two: traditional forest management because of the climate change, and what is very important in Slovakia, almost 50% of our forest area is under Nature 2000, and now there is big discussion or conflict between traditional forest management and forest protection. And I would like to stress out what is probably very unique in Europe. We have in Slovakia 9 national parks, but only 40% of the forest area in these national parks is owned by state. 60% of the area in national parks is owned by private forest owners or by municipalities. And it is very difficult to find compromise between national protection, private forest owners in interest. And this is second challenge for our forestry sectors related to this. First, it is communication to public, because if you ask the people what is the forestry sector or forestry in Slovakia, the answer is very clear. The first forestry sector is interested only in wood cutting, and foresters are somebody who kills very cute animals. The image of forestry sector in Slovakia is not so optimal. And now I would like to continue with some subsidy system for forestry owners. What is very important in Slovakia, timber is the most important source of income. Over 80% of the income for forestry sector is for timber. Therefore, it's very important to have a very effective support system, especially for small forest owner. And from the national level, the support system is very low. It is about 2 million hectare or 3 million euro per year. But if you see on this picture, you can see how important for our sector is subsidy from European Union, from Rural Development Program. In 2004, from 2004 is Slovakia a member of European Union, and we started to use our Rural Development Program for the support of forestry sector. And you can see huge increment of the support system of the subsidies for the our sector, forestry sector. And what are our generally priority for the subsidies? It is prevention of forest damages and restoration of forest damages forest. It is over 90 million euro during last 7 years. Second one, what is very important is investigation related to the forest road. In this programming period, we started to support some activities related to tourism, to diversification of forestry productions. And next, very important subsidies are for the investment in forestry technology and processing, like harvesters, cable crane, wood transport. But this support is only for non-state forest managers. And in in last 2 or 3 years, we started some subsidies for the cooperation between forestry practices and research. It is this European innovation system. And if you look on our experiences in subsidy system from rural development program, is very important and necessary in advance to prepare support priorities for forestry sector. And from the state administration in advance is very important to have effective control system. But what is really challenging for our forestry sector or our state administration is the time of evaluation of the project. Sometimes it takes 2 years, what is very long period. And if you look on the private forest owners, of course, they don't have a lot of experiences with this subsidy system. Therefore, they need in advance to have very good information and to be prepared for the project preparation and for the implementation of the project. And in this area, our organization try to help them with the project preparation implementation. And this is really challenging for us. And now, probably you know, until end of this year, each member state country of European Union should prepare strategic plan for a new rural development program. And on the European level, they were defined 8 priorities, and we started to prepare our support system for forestry under these 3 green priorities. First one is climate change mitigation and adaptation. Second one is related to conservation of biodiversity. And this strategic objective 7 is related to employment in rural areas. Plus, what is very important for us, like we are from education organization or from organization related to consultancy, transfer of knowledges. This is this cross-cutting objective related to fostering and sharing of knowledges. And now you can see how can we prepare our new support system for until this year. We have defined 2 main areas. First one is adaptation and mitigation to climate change. We would like support measures like close to nature silviculture, forest genetic resources, restoration of forest potential, of course, area under Nature 2000, and really we prepare new measures or new area related directly only to support of small forest owners up 500 hectare. we prepare, and now we have very intensive discussion with our ministry, and we will see how will be the final decision. But for us was very important to include this support of sustainable forest management for small forest owner into this new common agriculture policy. And probably some information related again to new common agriculture policy will be very important, or priority of this agriculture policy implementation of agricultural knowledge and innovation system. It is some system which try to bring together organization which produce information and organization who need this information. It means forestry practice, and this is not new for in this programming period was this AKIS, but as you can see on the European level, it was planned, for example, prepare 3,200 operation groups, and now 2,000 is running, but for the forestry sector it is only 2%. And this operation group, there is some small consortium from one research organization and two agriculture or forestry enterprises, and the subsidies for this one operation group is about 200,000 euro, and really it is very effective, or could be very effective tools for the transfer of knowledges. And probably you know that in end of November will be conference or online conference related to this topic, turning forest innovation into practice, because really in European Union the forests cover almost 40% or over 40%, but we use these operation groups in forestry sector only on the level 2%. And probably I would like go back in our second challenge for the forestry sector is this communication and forestry. 20 years ago we started with the education or preparation of forest pedagogues. There are some people who are professional foresters, but then started to work with with children or seniors, and it is not only environmental education, but it could be very effective tools for the positive presentation of forestry, what is very needful for the forestry sector in Slovakia. And again, this environmental education could be supported from common agriculture policy, and we would like to involve this support system in this our new strategical program from European Union. And at the end of my very shortly presentation, probably from our point of view, from our experiences in Slovakia, we see the new common agriculture policy very effective platform to support private forest owners. This support could be directly on the traditional forest management like silviculture, infrastructure, technology, but from our point of view, like organization who is dealing with the transfer of knowledges, and this support could focus on the knowledge flows between research and practices. And as I mentioned before, we see this new opportunity from agriculture policy like very effective tools for the support of environmental education. It was very briefly, and on the really last slide you can see some picture from Slovakia. This is our national park High Tatras. This is our mountains area in east part of Slovakia. From my side, it was very briefly, and of course, if there are some questions, please.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Milan. And no, it's definitely interesting. I liked your comment about the reputation of the forestry sector in Slovakia is not so optimal. I think that possibly is reflected probably in many places, and I think it really reflects the benefits of our cost action, which we've just submitted. Well done to all those who did that. For Percept, just trying to look at the perceptions of forestry around Europe. So it ties in well. But certainly, some of the support you suggest, and particularly focusing on the small woodland owners. And it's interesting in Slovakia that you see small woodland owners as being under 500 hectares. So again, certainly in the UK, that would be massive for us. But certainly, I think some of the issues and problems you have are going to be very similar in trying to communicate with these people and looking at some of the support systems you've got in place and hoping to put in place. It'll be interesting to see how it develops. But anyway, so has anyone got any questions for Milan? Natasha.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Milan, for the really interesting presentation. I was just wondering regarding these measures that you mentioned for supporting from CAP that are coming toward private forest owners as well as for this forest pedagogic. How are these fundings procured? How are these fundings gotten towards the private forest owners and towards the foresters who are doing this education?
Thank you for the question. Really, I would like, it is not our idea. This system is very effective in Austria. Really, and it is something, for example, according to Austrian forest law, each pupils during school time should visit the forest with foresters. There is written in the Forestry Act. And in Austria, there is subsidies for certificated forest pedagogues. And when he takes people, not only children, the different target group, I think minimum 8 people in the forest, the subsidy for this one trip is 120 euro. And this is the support from the rural development program, and we would like to create the very similar system, because in Slovakia we have about 400 forest pedagogues from state organization, but some of them are private person, and the National Forest Center is coordinator of forest pedagogues, and we would like to prepare some very similar support for our forest pedagogues. And we believe that from the long-term perspective, they can change between thinking of the people about forestry sector, because if the people are going, or young generation are going into the forest with the foresters, which are very familiar with this forest, they could be very good combination. But of course, this forester need special training, and we provided on National Forest Center this training for the foresters to be certificate forest pedagogues.
And you also provide advice for this financing, or you are providing the financing? How does
this is new. We would like to be something between payment agents and the forest pedagogues, because of course, according to European rules, it should be very clear, and we would like to be very active in this process.
Okay, thank you.
Ian Baker.
Hello, Milan. I'm also from a small woodland organisation, owners organisation based in the UK. So a lot of what you said, I could say we have similar issues, but as Mark said, the average ownership of our members is 12 hectares, not 500. So we tend to be dealing on a slightly different scale. I'm interested because one of the challenges that we have is a lot of our owners is a very, very dynamic sort of woodland ownership market. in the UK, people are buying woodlands, and there's a very strong demand for it. The prices are very high. But it also means there's a lot of people who actually have a woodland or have a small forest and don't know very much about it. What do you find works in engaging that sort of woodland owner, any sort of woodland owner really, who in trying to encourage them to understand more about techniques, to understand more about collaborating, whether there's pedagogy, etc. What do you find is effective in making a connection between your organization and the owners?
Yeah, thank you for the question, but I know this 500 hectare, this looks very well. But I would like mention one thing. In Slovakia we have probably I don't know, one forestry enterprise, one municipality. I don't know, it is 200 hectares, but on 200 hectares is owned by 2,000 people. This is probably you know, this is the same people probably in East Europe, because it is not that one private forest owner own 500 hectares. This is on one hectare we have I don't know, 10, 15 owners. This is, and what is probably our advantages according to our forestry law. Each forest owner, private, state, municipality, should have professional forest managers. It means that for state administration, it's not problem to speak with these forest owners, because there is some with knowledges, and each forest owner should have forest management plans. Of course, it is something from our communism time that it was very directive, but this system now is works, and we would like to help these small forest owners with this professional forest management. Probably the state will pay for this work. But really you are right. It is very problematic. How can we be with contact with these people? Because in Slovakia we started to have new forest owners who live in towns, and they are not interested for the forest, because 10 years ago it was not problem. Each forest owner were living in the villages. Each of them was interesting for the firewood. It was traditional, but the system is changing in Slovakia, and really it is, for us it is challenging. And probably this new common agriculture policy, if we will prepare in good way, could help us to solve this challenge, this problem.
Thank you very much, Milan.
Okay, thanks. Noel Kennedy.
Sorry. Hello, Milan. Good morning to you, or good afternoon. Yeah, Noel Kennedy from Teagasc in Ireland here. Thank you very much for your presentation. You mentioned that over nearly 50% of forests in Slovakia are in the Natura designation. And we haven't quite as much that forestry in Natura in Ireland, but more and more, and year by year, more and more is coming in under designation, and it is definitely causing issues for our management, and not least a little bit of I suppose angst amongst forest owners and foresters as well. You mentioned there that there is some maybe disagreement between foresters, forestry owners, and maybe the environmental groupings in, and maybe the government itself, over forestry policy in those Natura areas. Can you just say a little more about that? And also, if you don't mind me asking, you mentioned there that something like 20% of your private forests are unregistered, and I'm just wondering, how does that, how has that been reflected in terms of addressing that situation? Is there anything that can be done to bring any of those areas in under some active management? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I try to answer the second question. This 20% is really it is really problem from the ownership point of view. But from the management, it is not so big problem, because according to our forestry law, it is obligatory from state forest enterprise to manage this forest. And this 20% is because what I said before. Each forest, I don't know, each 1 hectare of our forest is owned 5-6 people, and during 40-50 years the forest was divided the next generation, and now we call them unknown forest owner. Probably they live in Slovakia, in Canada, probably in Ireland. It is very complicated, but again, from the management point of view, it is not problem, because it's managed by state forest enterprise. And really this conflict, I don't know if it's conflict or could be conflict between forest management and natural protection, is really, it is a conflict on the level of the ministry, because forestry is under Ministry of Agriculture, and environment and nature protection is of course under Ministry on Environmental. And really in Slovakia you can find two laws. One is focus on the forestry. According to Forestry Act, you are obliged after calamity to do something until 6 months. But according to law about nature protection, the best way to do protection is do nothing. And really now starting Slovakia big discussion if could help that the all forests will be moved to under Ministry on Environmental. But really what is the problem that I don't know how the situation is other European countries, but if you have in national park 60% of non-state forest area, it is really big challenge, because there are some restrictions. If there are restrictions on the state-owned forest land good, but of course for state private forest owner, the state should pay for it, and it is very costly, and of course nobody won't pay for it. It is really this big discussion between a priority of Ministry on Environment and Ministry of Agriculture. We will see, but as Natasha said, probably it is very happy that we prepare this cost project. Probably some can help us to have more information. How can we dealing with this problem?
Okay. And Milan, can I ask, the unregistered land that has been managed by the state agencies, if there is income from timber sales and that, does that go to the state, or does the owner have any right to some of that income?
According to our forest law, if there are some income, there is special bank account, and of course the cost for harvesting. If there is some income, they should stay of this bank account. It is not income for state or enterprise.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Milan.
Great. Actually, Milan, one question from me. I noticed that there's no subsidy support for advice. But if, say, you're a private woodland owner with 10 to 20 hectares of woodland, how easy is it to find someone to pay who can pay for advice, or is there any free advice available?
Yeah, this is the next issue, very important. We have some measures from rural development program really for the advisory system, but what is problem on the European level? we should follow the European legislation, and according to the legislation, this advisory system should follow the state aid de minimis. It is very complicated, and therefore, in what it is promising that in new legislation it will be much more easy, because it is very complicated. If there is some small forest owner, 10 or 15 hectares, and they need really very effective advice related to forest management. But firstly, they should prepare some contract to payment agency, and it took 6 or 7 months to prepare this all documentation for the support. But for example, our organization National Forest Center has forestry protection services, and they is paid by state. If you are a forest owner and have some problem with some disease, you can directly call on our National Forest Center, but it is only related to protections that is paid by state.
Thank you. And also, just reflecting back to a previous FOREXT Friday, is there anything that's being done in Slovakia around diversifying the workforce, particularly around bringing more women into forestry?
Yeah, this is from the ownership's point of view of ownership. I think it is 50 to 50, and for example, our organization, my institution, we are 20, or we are 17, and 60% are women.
Yes, so it's very well reflected. That's excellent. Good. Thank you for that. Noel, is that an old hand you've got up? Assuming.
I beg your pardon, that is an old hand.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
So are there any more questions for Milan? And I don't. Is there anything in the chat, Minna?
Nope, I don't see anything in the chat either. So
great. Well, thank you very much, Milan. That was very interesting, and it's always great to hear some of the detail around how forestry works in countries around Europe. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
Excellent. And well, hopefully we might be able to see you in person one day.
Yeah, I hope so.
Let's hope our cost action is successful. Anyway, thank you all very much. Natasha, is there anything you wanted to add at all?
No, I just wanted to thank also Milan, and then yes, follow us next FOREXT Friday in November, where we are going to speak about the forestry strategy, which is also a really interesting topic for us. Thank you for joining us today.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekends, and look forward to seeing you in a month's time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye now.
Thank you, Milan.
Nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.